If you're only selling on your e-commerce store and that e-commerce store goes down, you're not bringing in any revenue.
Hello everybody, welcome to Surge. This week we will talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is what's going on with Volusion. Volusion seems to have filed for bankruptcy in a Texas court 2 days ago. Obviously, Joe, this has some implications, and what we wanted to do is we wanted to cover what this means for you if you're on Volusion, and what this means for you if you are not on Volusion, if you're on a different system. So, Joe, let's talk about the people on Volusion right now. Should they be concerned? Should they start panicking? What do you think this means for Volusion? Let's talk about best case scenario and worst case scenario.
I think that they should definitely be concerned. If they weren't concerned already. We know that back in 2019, there was a gigantic data breach, over 200,000 credit cards stolen, totaling around maybe $1.6 million is what they stole from those credit cards, according to some Hacker News. That right there was a red flag. And they're saying that them filing for Chapter 11 now is because of the wake that this hack caused. So if you were on Volusion and you weren't already considering leaving Volusion after that data breach, right now you need to start looking for another platform.
But Joe, as you know, we've been a partner of Volusion since 2007. I mean, it's been around 13 years, and I did my first website on Volusion in 2004. So we go way back with Volusion, and they actually have a good system. They actually have tons of clients that make millions of dollars on the system. And you're basically saying, let's talk about the worst case scenario. You're basically saying it might, you should be concerned, you should be worried. But I'm pretty sure that Volusion is stating to their clients that, they don't have to worry and that this is a reorganization, et cetera, et cetera. But the other concern that I would think about is hosting, right? Volusion hosts with Rackspace. How do you think Rackspace is going to react to this information?
Yeah, that's another thing that store owners need to consider is the hosting aspect and the partnerships that Volusion have. Are they going to be able to secure and maintain those partnerships moving forward in the future? I think that's just another cause of concern, is just the unforeseeable future, really, that I think store owners should kind of be weary of.
Got it. And at Optimum 7, we're partners with multiple systems out there. I mean, we like Volusion. We've worked with Volusion for years. Of course, no specific system is perfect. Mm-hmm. We work with eCommerce. We work with Shopify. We work with a lot of enterprise solutions like SAP, Episerver, VTEX, et cetera, et cetera. We work with Sitecore. We work with Magento. But let's talk about, if you are not on Volusion, what this means for you as a small or medium-sized e-commerce business owner. So what are the certain things that you need to pay attention to with your platform mm-hmm. or outside of your platform? I mean, a lot of people are on WooCommerce. Yeah. They're running $1 million operations on WooCommerce. A lot of people are still on Magento 1. A lot of people are on Magento 2, Magento Enterprise. These are not really open source. They're open source mm-hmm. solutions, but you need to deal with your own hosting. They're not hosted solutions like Volusion, eCommerce, Shopify. What would you say to these e-commerce owners?
I think that the important takeaway here is that e-commerce store owners need to understand that no system is 100% perfect, right? At any point in time, any of these platforms could potentially be vulnerable, whether it be to bankruptcy, whether it be to change it being hacked, right? So it's very important that if you're an e-commerce store owner to have external backups, have additional backups of your store. Do not rely on just one platform to house everything.
Yeah. And what you could do is there are solutions out there. For example, we back up the templates of our Volusion clients as well as their databases. We've done this with eCommerce. We've done this with Shopify. There are apps for Shopify. If you're on Magento or WooCommerce, you got to make sure that you back up your database on a nightly basis. But another issue is a lot of people are now on Volusion and they have these custom systems, custom integrations that are running on Volusion. It's not easy for everybody to just get out of Volusion, Joe. So let's talk about the best case scenario. Yes, the worst case scenario is that you need to get out of Volusion and you need to start planning that, or even maybe start considering it.
Yeah.
But the best case scenario is that Volusion takes care of this and you basically move on and you're on the Volusion system, et cetera, right? But from a stability standpoint, from a scalability standpoint, what else can you do over the long period of time to not be dependent on one platform other than just taking a backup?
Yeah. Well, we know that obviously when it comes to finding additional revenue streams for your business, not relying on just your e-commerce store alone, we have clients that are selling across multiple marketplaces just to diversify their revenue streams. Because again, if you're only selling on your e-commerce store and that e-commerce store goes down, you're not bringing in any revenue. Same thing if you're primarily selling on Amazon and you're not really selling on your e-commerce store, you get kicked off Amazon, your revenue goes down. So it's just really important that these store owners understand that they need to be going after every single channel that they possibly could, just in case one of them goes down.
Yeah, so you're basically saying they need to diversify as best as possible. But let's talk about the logistics of this. So ideally, and again, this is in an ideal world, what we would want to have as an e-commerce consulting firm is if all your products are on Volusion, we want to be able to move you within 7 to 10 days to another platform. The only way we could realistically do that is if you're running a channel manager.
Yeah.
And if you have your inventory management system synced with your e-commerce store. And so if you were running a channel manager like Channel Advisor, and if you were pushing your products from your inventory management system to Channel Advisor, and from Channel Advisor to the e-commerce platform, we could literally migrate you within 7 to 10 days,
Yep.
right, Joe? But if you are not running a Channel Advisor, if you're not running these integrations, it's probably going to take you at least 2-3 weeks to up to 2-3 months to migrate, because the data structure is different, the formatting is different, the option structure is different. If you have custom functionality for upsells, checkout upsells, integrations, they have to be, or let's say they might have to be redone. So migration is not an easy thing. What do you say to people who are experiencing this specific problem, Joe? I have too much invested on Volusion. I can't get out of Volusion fast. What do you say to those folks?
Well, basically it's you've invested that much in your e-commerce store. However, you've hit a ceiling, right? You're not going to be able to take that investment and see a return if you stay there. So basically what we're saying is to continue investing in your business, continue investing into a migration so you can now scale and finally start to see that return. Yes, we get that all the time. I've spent X amount on this custom functionality on Volusion, and now you're telling me that it's going to have to be rebuilt on another e-commerce platform. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes it's not. Some e-commerce platforms have that custom functionality built in natively, right? So it's a matter of weighing out the pros and the cons, obviously from a cost standpoint as well. But from what we've seen is that we've been able to do it in a cost-effective manner that it's almost like a relief or a weight off that e-commerce store owner's back once they see that it can be done.
Got it. Now, Joe is a little bit more aggressive with this kind of stuff. I don't think that people need to flee Volusion. I think that Volusion will take care of this and will find a way through this. But you definitely should be looking at your options, weighing your options, looking at different platforms. And again, you'd never want to be, you want to have a contingency plan. You never want to be at the last minute saying basically, oh crap, now I got to migrate. Volusion is going out of business. Volusion is not going out of business. They filed for Chapter 11, but that's a reorganization.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, just cover your e-commerce system, cover your e-commerce business, take your backups, and make sure that you're doing the right things from a diversification standpoint so that you don't have to be in this situation.
Yep.
Now, the last thing, Joe, is let's talk about people who actually might want to get out of Volusion. People who might be fed up, people who might say, well, this is just too much trouble. I need something more stable. This is my livelihood, right? Where are they going to go?
I would move to another hosted solution. So now you're talking about BigCommerce, Shopify. Those are really the top two that we see people moving towards coming from a hosted solution, because that's what they're used to, right? So it makes the most sense for them to move to another hosted solution like BigCommerce or Shopify. I wouldn't say Magento 2. Definitely not WooCommerce. You're heading in the wrong direction. But it really depends on how much revenue you're bringing in. You might even need an enterprise level solution to maybe take on the amount of custom functionality that you have and your annual revenue. So it really just depends on your volume and your revenue.
Yeah. If you're doing over $20-30 million, you might want to go enterprise. If you're doing between 1 and 5, you might want to go to BigCommerce or Shopify. We tend to like BigCommerce because their API is really, really convenient for us to work with. But Shopify has a really good app store. You also got to look at your total out of pocket when you're moving to another platform, right? A lot of people just look at what the platform charges. But for example, BigCommerce's total out of pocket is going to be definitely lower than Shopify's, because you're going to need 20 additional functionalities on Shopify, and BigCommerce might have most of those out of the gate or out of the box. So that's it for today. If you have any questions about migration, if you have any questions about which platform to migrate to, please reach out to us. And I want to mention, we also have a checklist, a migration checklist that we have prepared. We don't post that because it's important for us. We spent a lot of time on it. If you want this migration checklist, definitely contact us, reach out to us, and we'll be happy to provide this for you. That's it for this week. We'll talk to you guys next week.